reason I'm bringing up Match.com, which I have funny stories that I'll say another time, is there's so many guys that call in and be like, I want to complain. There's all the fat chicks on the site, and it's a guy that's 300 pounds. You're fucking fat, dude. No, I'm serious. And they always call and complain. And these guys want a bikini model. And like, if you're a billionaire, yeah, you can have a bikini model and be 300 pounds. But if you just like work at a gas station and you're like 47 years old and you're 300 pounds, you're not going to get Pamela Anderson. I'm sorry, but you're not.
You really got to have that fuck you money if you're... If you're 300 pounds and you're trying to pull supermodels in bikinis.
Right. And just like a regular guy. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Doug Life. I'm back at it with the beautiful Gypsy.
What's up?
What's up? Good seeing you, girl. I like the hat. You're looking good.
Thank you. I just started wearing hats, and I just started loving it. Do you want to know how I picked out my hat?
How?
I went to Lids, and I was like, listen, I'm 32 years old, and I want to look cool. What should I wear? And so I got a black socks one, and then this blue one. And so now... hopefully I look
Have
cool.
you had any guys come up to you asking you if you're even is that Dodgers hat?
Okay, here's the deal. I honestly was about to make a post, right? Because I've had a few people be like talk shit, and I will be like, listen, I don't know anything about fucking baseball. Okay, I just want to look cool. Give me a break.
That's all it's about.
I just want to look cool. I just want to look cool. And there's literally people that have like said things like, oh, talking shit and this and that. And it's like, no, just let me look cool. Leave me alone. I really don't care.
That's funny. Well, welcome back here. I'm glad we were able to make it work. Unfortunately, Pastor Joseph couldn't be here with us.
He's busy doing a funeral, but he'll be back for sure.
He'll be back at it. So what is Gypsy's status right now? I know you want to talk about some red flags. What's going on in here?
Totally want
Actually, you know what I want to talk about? You something. Why did you give up sex for 3.5 months? Like we never really dived into that last time. I feel like there had to be a reasoning for it,
There is a few.
Because you're a very sexually active person. You are like.
Well, okay. First of all, I am, but it's not like I go with random people. If it's one person, then it's a lot. But I realized that it's unnecessary right now. And if I meet someone and I like doing that, I want to do that all the time. Yeah. Like
it can be distracting to a point.
It can.
Well, it's like you're unproductive and you're lazy. Especially like when I'm single, one thing that I've noticed, like I eventually get like, for me, I'm always like, I'm going out there chasing tail, spending money, wasting time, you know what I mean? And I'm actually like taking away from shit that I should be focusing on because I'm trying to get my dick wet.
Right. And I realized the last I was intimate with, I felt so good that like we said, I love you after 2 days, right? And the problem with that is...
You didn't love each other. You just love that dick.
Right. But this is the problem, is that then you think someone is, the best thing ever because you like the sex so much. Mm-hmm. And that's been my problem. I typically meet people, we have like a one night stand and then we're a thing. And I don't want to do that again. If I'm going to be with someone, I want it to be because they're consistent. Yes. They're a good communicator. They're loving and know things about them. I don't want to just be around someone and like them because they get, got me dick whipped. Yeah. I don't. And I really need to focus on myself and my energy and building me up. And I don't want to I really believe in energy. Like you can get diseases and fucking demons from dudes. Like I want to contain my energy to myself. And then when I'm ready to be with someone and commit to someone, then I'll do that. Yeah. Is it easy? No. Is it fun? No. But guess what? I'm building myself and I'm making quantum leaps in my life that I couldn't before that. Just like giving up cigarettes, just like giving up alcohol. Yep.
Good sex will only take a relationship so far. I've learned that from a few times. Like I remember I dated this one girl for just like 2 or 3 months. And the only thing that we had in common or liked about each other is that we had good sex, but we really didn't click that well, like mentally. We didn't really communicate. Like she would always take things I said the wrong way, and vice versa. No, and vice versa. Okay, no, actually, I want to ask you something. No, she would. It's like, I'm serious.
You have to say that, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and that is amazing and funny as fuck.
She would like, okay, one example that I always tell people about, I remember this one time we were like driving in the car together, right? And all I said, I was like, oh, babe, you should get in the left lane. She was like, yeah, I know, the left lane's always the fastest. Like, she took it like really defensively, kind of like I was like questioning her intelligence or being condescending towards her. But that was one of the many type of like interactions we had. I would just like say something or make a suggestion, and she would take it as me thinking just like she's dumb. And like, she said I mansplained everything. And she also called me the most condescending person on the planet, which I honestly don't feel like I am. She's
Not
the
at
only
all.
person to ever tell me that. But that just goes to show me like some people, you're not going to click with everyone. You know what I mean?
You're not.
Her and I didn't click. Like, and I would try to like be mindful. Like, we communicated about things. I would try to, watch what I say and whatnot. But then you get to the point where it's like, I'm trying so hard not to say the wrong thing to piss her off. And so I can't even fucking be myself anymore. Like, that natural feeling where you can just like lay on the couch with your girl, or just like when you're laying in bed and you can just really open up your heart. Like, that part did not exist because I knew I was just too afraid to piss her off. And like I said, and we only dated for like 2-3 months. That was it.
Well, I did that for 2.5 years, and I thought pretty much like everything I did would piss this guy off. And like I might have mentioned before, his love language was telling me everything wrong I do in life, which when you like...
That's his love language? I haven't heard of that love language.
Yeah, no, it's...
Everything you do wrong in life.
For what it's worth, he helped me sober. I was an alcoholic. He changed my life, right?
Yeah.
So it worked. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I did realize that there are people that are compatible and there are people that aren't compatible. Mm-hmm. And like what you just said... I've had that though, where everything you do pisses someone off, and you're like, and that's the thing is, I'm the type of person that I get nagged at if I'm in a relationship. I would never be like, oh, your toilet. I'm the one that gets, because I have like a free spirit. I'm the one that always gets nagged at. And you would think, how could you ever fight if you never get mad about shit and you're super chill? Right. Trust me. People find their ways. Like, it's like, oh my God, did I breathe wrong? Are you pissed off about that too? What's new? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, that is a red flag. I was at this party this weekend, and this guy was telling me this story where he went on a date with this woman, and they went to go get scooters, and he like paid for the scooter and it got stolen. Oh, and he called her and was like, I'm late, the scooter got stolen or whatever. And she's like, you are a liar. Don't ever talk. And it's like the type of person that is just going to accuse you of lying right off the bat. Yeah. And do that, run for the fucking hills. Right. Like run.
And those are their own insecurities. Like,
it's their own insecurities.
I trust my partner no matter, until they give me a reason not to trust them. It
will be right. And that's my rule too. It can be the weirdest shit that doesn't make sense, whatever it is. But until shit comes knocking at my door, which if it's I'm meant to know things, I will. I don't go searching. I just believe whatever anyone says, because the worst thing is to be that person, right? You're this and that, and it's not. Like, that is literally the worst person to be.
And it's also like how you react to things. Like, one thing I've learned throughout my relationships and like maturing, like, is to not always get defensive or upset when your partner feels insecure. Because I think everyone has insecurities at times, whether it's how their ex did them at the past, whether like they cheated on them, whatever it is. And for an easy example, say if you're going out with your friends for a night and your partner's kind of constantly calling you, or maybe just texting you, checking you, like asking you what you're doing. I can see how that can easily like get annoying, but there's two ways you can go. You can get annoyed and piss off, like, oh, why are you so insecure? Or you can just like answer the phone call once, be like, hey babe, I'm out here at the bar, just hanging out with my friends. Maybe send her a Snapchat of your drink or what you're doing, just to make them feel more comfortable and more secure in your guys' relationship. Like, obviously it's different if it's like an everyday fucking thing. So like there's this and that, and they're just hounding you on it. But I think we all lose to our insecurities at times, and it should also be your job as that partner to make that other person feel secure on days that they need it.
I've
You know?
learned a lot about that. Yeah, I used to not be good at that, where I'd be like, "Oh, you want to accuse me? I might as well fucking do it."
It's a tough thing to do, though. Like,
right, but now I become the type of person that if that were to happen, I would just be like, "Listen, talk to me. You're insecure. What do you need to know? What do I need to give you?
Right. What can I do to make you feel more secure?
What can I make you feel better? Because if I was like that and someone's like, babe, what can I do to make you feel better? Because I love you. I only want you. Let's talk about this. What can we do?
Mm-hmm.
That is helpful, right? Like I said before, I'd be the type of person, fine, I'll fucking do it then if you think, you know, I was like, you can't get more toxic than how I used to be. But I've learned and grown a lot. That's also why I don't want to have sex, is because I'm not fully there yet, but I'm getting there, of being very clear-minded where if I'm going to be with someone, I can be someone completely opposite of what I was before.
Yes.
That's really fun. No, but that's so true though. And even though the guy that I was with before, the ex, things weren't perfect. Obviously, if I was with him for 2 years, there were really good parts, and we did click really well. And what sucked is when we quit talking, there was a few times I met with people and it was just so awkward, and then it made you miss that person more, even though they weren't right for you. So like I had a situation in February where the guy was going to bed or whatever, and we said, I love you quick. And that was what I needed to get over my ex, because I was like, wow, there's someone out there that I vibe with this hard, even though things didn't work out between me and him, just giving me hope that I will connect with another person on that level, like even more so than that. That's the thing. Just that's what's hard sometimes is. That's what's hard, is thinking, am I ever going to meet someone? You know, like if I was actually on the phone with my friend on the way here, and she was saying, you know, when she was single, she's like, if someone would have said, in 3 years, you're going to meet someone, she's like, I'll be cool with that. 3 years. But it's just like not knowing, will you ever meet someone?
It's the unknown.
And it's hard to describe, because people ask me like, oh, what do you want in a guy? And it's like, I don't have a specific thing. I know for a fact I want someone that's an entrepreneur. Whatever it is, taller than me, but I'm not a snob about it. I'm not a snob, but I want someone for 100% that's an entrepreneur, that whatever it is that they do, that they have a love and a passion, right? Because I love talking to people. I'm building me, right? So I build me and they build them, and they don't have to be, you know, at the end goal at the time, but someone that wakes up and hustles every day and has something, someone that's not okay.
They have to be driven. And they're getting up there and they're taking action and finding
and driven and doing that every day and having that and have desires and dreams and aspirations. Also, they have to love to fucking dance. I dance all the time.
I don't know how to dance. I know how to grind. I don't know how to dance. What do you mean by knowing how to dance? Like doing the salsa and shit? Or you just gotta be out and go fucking grab
someone that just likes to dance. Music comes on, and you know what I mean, and he's vibing. And there's people that tell me, oh, you're my soulmate. Well, you don't like to dance. No, you're not. Like, you know, someone that loves to dance, and
dancing's a requirement for Gypsy boys.
It is, but it's because even my mom said that she loves my stepdad, but she loves to dance, and someone that I can just go out dancing with, and it has to be someone that's somewhat secure with themselves, because everywhere I go, I'm meeting people. I'll twerk on some gay guy or someone that's 400 pounds. I love everybody. I'm always telling people God loves them, hugging them, dancing with them. If you're
God
really
loves you, let me shake my ass on you.
Well, just like having fun. You know what I mean? If you're someone that's really insecure, you're going to get pissed off at me. And I'm not dealing with it every day.
Where do you draw the line, though? When your partner is someone that you love doesn't like, hey, babe, I don't like you just like walking up to dudes and shaking your ass on them, whether they're gay or fat or whatever it is, you know? I feel like you would have to respect, you get to the point where you have to respect some boundaries for your partner.
If it was someone that I was like really attracted to, I wouldn't do that, because if I was in a relationship, that wouldn't be. But I'm just saying, I'm a social friendly person, and I can't have someone that would be annoyed by that. And also I'm really outgoing, so for me, I need someone that's more, and it's like kind of more of an introvert. So there's a good balance, because if you have a male version exactly like me, that's like crazy like me, that's recipe for disaster. Yeah. We're getting hospitalized.
That's too much chaos.
So someone that kind of
can balance you out. You know what I mean?
And
appreciate that. Like someone who's kind of like maybe a little more introverted, a little more reserved, well, you can kind of help bring them out more and make them more social, and they can kind of like bring you down and like, hey, like bring it down a level. Like,
a lot. The guys that I like are typically a little more on the introverted, but
yes.
they can also be kind of like, they can be fun and like I bring them out of their shell.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell. But what about you? Before you had your lady now, what were some requirements?
Honestly, I don't know. I just try to see if I like get along with the person or not. Like I can usually tell when me and a girl click within like the first week or two. I don't know. Like
really, you can't tell. What about right away?
Yeah,
I typically tell right away.
I can usually tell right away. I'm a very like adaptable person in like social settings. You know what I mean? So I feel like you can always learn to love someone. You can learn to like someone, even people you're not very fond of. I just have a lot of love in my heart just for people in general. Like there's even guys that like. There's some traits that like people that I may not be fond of, but I can see the good in them. You know what I mean? I can see how other people kind of click with them. So yeah, there has been some women who I were like my ex before I dated the girl that I'm with now, we hooked up on the first date and we just like clicked instantly after that. But like we had a lot of similar interests. Like she was in the same music as me. She was really like easy to talk to. She laughed at all the dumb shit that I say. You know what I mean? There's some people you just really vibe with well.
Right.
And there's other people where it's like you may not have that strong of connection right away, but you see a lot of like good traits and potential in them, right? So you're like, oh, I want to keep talking to this person, see where it goes. And sometimes that's also attractive to me when you don't click with someone right away. It's like, okay, I kind of want to work for this. It almost becomes like kind of a mission. You know what I mean?
I haven't had
a little bit of a chase. Like
maybe that's a guy thing.
I think it is though. I think it is. Like, cause
I love like, you know, and it doesn't happen every day, but when you just meet someone and you just like, you don't feel awkward at all. And it's crazy how that can happen, where then there's other people you meet back in like September, I went to this guy's house and it was just like, I was just thinking out of here. Like it was so awkward. And I like cried my eyes out the whole way home because I was just like, why does my ex-boyfriend have to be like that?
I did have one bad date actually. Like this, it wasn't even that bad. This chick gave me I was bartending. This one chick gave me her number. I texted her like, I don't know, later that week and we met up out to dinner or whatever. And I thought things were going fine with Camille. I think she took it offensive. She was like, God, she was going to school for something. I think it was psychology. She was going to school for psychology. And I told her like psychology is not a science or something. We were on the topic of just like what makes a science, for example, like mathematics, chemistry. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I don't think, there's certain things in psychology that I wouldn't give the weight to call it a science. And I think that offended her. And then she was like, I got to go to the bathroom. I know, I swear to God. She was like, I got to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, all right. I could tell just the whole energy's just off, right? And then she comes back. She's like, hey, I got to like go and have my friend pick up. I was like, do you want some money? Like, all she got is like one beer and like a fucking basket of fries. I'm like, no, it's all good. I got it. You know what I mean? And she ended up leaving. I sat there, finished my beer. I just texted her later. I was like, hey, I know things are off between us. I didn't mean to like offend you. I don't know what I said or did, or whatever. But basically, I just apologized for it. I was like, don't feel awkward if you see me bartending at Williams again over the next time you're over in Uptown. I would say that was like kind of like the worst date I've ever had, which really isn't even that bad. Most of them have been pretty successful.
People, okay, add that to the list. A guy that's not easily offended. I don't think there's anything more unattractive than people that get easily offended about stuff. It's like a sour taste. Like, and then you have to like walk on eggshells. What do I say? It shows to me personally, and actually me and Joe talked about this before about people get offended.
Yeah.
That's a weak person.
We did. Yeah. Like, I wasn't a dick about it. You know what I mean? Like, I was just trying to have, like, a good back and forth. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about the girl.
That's what I'm saying. Like, with her.
I'm mad.
Yeah, like, I wasn't an asshole about it. I was like, psychology's not a science. You know what I mean? I was just trying to... I was just challenging her, you know what I mean? Picking out her brain a little bit and see if she could spar with me on like a subject. And instead she just got mad and left,
Yeah, if you, well, that's the thing too. That shows a weak person, that if you can't handle people disagreements that you have to walk away, that's a bad sign. I remember this lady told me she was on a date with this guy and they played Monopoly and he was losing and he took the thing and flipped it. And it's like, if you can't handle losing Monopoly, you have issues. And that is a red flag.
Imagine what, God.
If you can't think about that.
Yeah.
I think, and actually, a friend of mine also knows someone that would purposely piss off a guy within the first few dates. And I think that's actually a good idea because how people handle anger it makes or breaks if you want to be with them or not.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be living with them every day. Mm-hmm. That's why to me, someone that has a really chill, easy demeanor is very high up there because I don't want to be living with fucking chaos.
Someone's
always mad, always trying to start fights. No, I can't. And it's funny. Me and the guy that I was with would fight about stuff a lot. And he said, I just want peace. And I remember back then I was like, oh yeah, have fun with a boring bitch that's not good in bed. And it was like, I thought about it later and it's like, no, he's right. I just that's not fun. But before him, I was with a guy that was always in and out of jail. And it's like, that's what I was used to. That's all I knew. Right. But now, as I'm growing and learning as a person, it's like, oh my God, people can have that where they're just, hey, babe, hey, and they chill. They're not always fighting. That's not fun.
And it's hard to say, especially when you're first, was that your first, kind of real, deep love, serious relationship, the guy that you were with in jail with? That was going in and out of jail, because I feel like when your very first relationship, or maybe not even your first one, but your first really serious one where you're deeply in love with someone ends up being very toxic like that, it makes you feel like that's what your soul craves, and that's you're only gonna get that same type of passion in those toxic ass relationships.
That was at the time. That was the first time I've ever had Christian sex like that all the time. So yeah, and so I thought to have crazy passionate sex, you have to have crazy fight. You don't have to have that. It's better when you're feeling someone when they didn't piss you off and annoy you.
Yes. You can go out later that weekend, you know what I mean? They're not going to get pissed off at you for going out. They're not going to get mad at you for this. You can have someone where you have both worlds, where you have
yes, and it took me 32 years to realize this, but you can.
Yeah.
You can have
and it
that.
takes two. That's what most people don't realize. Both of you have to be on the same level of shit. Both of you have to be willing to bring things down. You have to really see take a step back and see if you're being petty or not. Because most of the time, I think people are, including I still do it at times. I think we all fucking do it.
What's something you did to be petty?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I have my petty moments. We all do.
One of the best advice that I got from a friend was your battles.
Yes.
And then sometimes if something comes up, it's like, is that, because most of the time it isn't really worth it. Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed for myself, because I was so unhealthy, that there would be times when things would be going completely fine and I would start a fight over something stupid because it felt uncomfortable to not fight. But it's so
things are going good for too long.
No, I'm serious. It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's a cry for help.
Yeah.
It is. It was really bad, but that can happen. So red flags. Do you want to talk about red flags? What do we have so far?
We have
easily offended.
Yes, easily offended.
Can't lose a game. How they handle losing or, people in general, that's a big test of character is how people handle hardships or how people handle things. Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing of people that are successful or they're not successful, right?
Successful people never lose. That's what they say. They say there's never losses. What's the quote called? There's no losses. There's only learn lessons, I think it goes.
Right.
Something
no,
it
that.
Is. Yeah. I never lose. I just learn. Shit like that.
This is the thing too. Things are not going to go how you want all the time. It's just not. And the biggest thing, it's one of my mantras that I have, 7 secrets to savage. Coming soon.
7 secrets to savage.
Okay. 7 secrets to savage. But one of them is keep it moving. Keep it moving. Today we had a friend that, was supposed to be with us and it didn't happen. But guess what? Some people will be freaking out. Oh, why can't he come or this or that, whatever. But no, we just, guess what? Keep it moving. There's sometimes, certain things change or they don't go exactly how you want. But guess what? You keep it moving and just keep it going. When you stop and freak out about things,
mm-hmm.
that it's not helpful. It doesn't do anything for your life. You just gotta keep it going. And a point that I want to add, today I woke up and I just didn't feel that great.
You had one
Nothing
of those
crazy
days.
happened.
Yeah.
I was a little mad at myself because I started my hard 75 like a week ago.
What's
and
that?
then
Is that like a workout or something, or?
it's this mental program that basically it's for 75 days and you do 2 45-minute workouts. You drink a gallon of water. That's why I have that.
Okay.
You read 10 pages of a nonfiction book and you stick to a diet and you take a progress picture. And am I forgetting anything? And one of the workouts has to be outside.
Okay.
I'm not technically doing hard 75 because I tailored it where I'm doing one of the workouts is I'm doing a run outside and then I'm doing a 45-minute dance video because I want to get really good at my hip hop dancing. But the point being is it's more so of a discipline than it is of a workout, because when you decide I'm going to do this every single day, things in life happen, but you figure it out, right? You figure it out. And it teaches you this distance. So then if I said I'm going to read 10 pages every day and this happens and that happens, but I always, no matter what, figure out how to make it happen, I'm going to learn that trait within myself that no matter what, I figure it out, right?
It eventually becomes a routine. I want to say, like, scientifically, they say you have to do something for 90 days. I want to say so. I think it's 90 days that they say, like, mentally, if you do something every day for 90 days, it becomes a routine in your just daily life, you know?
Exactly. Well, and this isn't about me drinking more water or about exercising. Like, the benefits are great, but this is about building that muscle of keeping commitments, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do, and that's one thing. That's why I fuck with you, Doug, because I said, no matter what, you are always down to record. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care what happened. You are down because you love this like I do.
Yeah.
This isn't just a fun thing. This is my life. I created my LLC, you know?
I treat it like going to the gym when I first started doing these pods, because we all have days like, a podcast are like, they're not as easy as they sound. Sometimes I'm like actually tired. Like that 3-hour one we did with Joseph. After you got stuff, I was like, fuck. I'm like, I was like physically tired after that for some reason. But you really gotta be when when you're here and we got these fucking lights on us and it gets warm, after like the first 20, 30 minutes, and you're trying to stay very like tuned in, mentally. Like that could be very wearing on you over time. So I told myself, I treat things like I'm going to the gym, or I'm just going to show up today. We're going to record. We're going to do it. You're going to have some good days at the gym and you're going to have some bad days. But usually the bad days on the bad days, that's when you see the most improvement in yourself.
That's true. And the thing is, every time you do something, even if it's a little bit, there's growth. Every time, right? Even if I was like, okay, I'm going to practice dancing for 5 minutes, there's growth in that. Every time we do a podcast, right? Every time you do a podcast, you grow from that. You're doing it. And I commend you for that, because there's a lot of times people are, oh, I'm tired or whatever. Me, the boss bitch that I am now, guess what? I don't have any fucking excuses. I don't. Today, I was telling you, I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't feel good, this and that. But I said, I'm waking up and I'm going to my kickboxing class. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to my kickboxing class because I made that's another mantra. I'm giving all my gems out, but whatever. I made my decision. I made my decision that when I wake up, I'm going to go work out.
Yeah.
Decision in the Greek means to cut off any other options, to cut off the options. I made my decision. I told you, Doug, because there's people that multiple times will tell you that they're going to come record, and they don't. And I said, I am that one person that is not going to fucking cancel on you. Yeah. I don't give a shit. I don't care if I have, whatever. If I'm in the hospital, I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm not going to fucking cancel. So guess what? Today I wasn't feeling that good. I was tired. And then when I was like kind of doing my makeup, I was like, it's weird. Some days you feel depressed or not sad, but the people that make shit happen in life, they go regardless.
Yeah.
If you're tired, still go to the fucking gym. Yep. If you don't feel good, still do your commitment, because consistency is the key.
It is.
Consistency.
Preach
Look
it,
at
girl.
this. Have I got preaching like this yet?
No.
Why do I have this? Because I didn't fucking feel good, and I said, I'm doing my podcast. I'm keeping my commitments. I'm not going to be... Did you turn me down?
Yeah, I did. Do your thing.
No, I'm not.
I don't want to take away your energy. Keep going.
No, but I'm not going to be the person, that flies by, right? And if you're that person that does that, stop it. Make a decision and keep it, because you made that. You're in the driver's seat of your life. Ain't no one else in the driver's seat. You are. You made your decision. I had to start over twice with the heart thing.
Yeah.
I could have went and be like, oh, I start over tomorrow. I'm going to go eat a bunch of popcorn. No, fuck popcorn.
Right.
I'm going to be I'm going to get my body extra sexy, even better than this.
Right.
And guess what? I made my decision. I'm sick of people. People tell me, oh my gosh, you're, no, but people will be like, oh my gosh, you're, in good shape. I wish. Well, guess what? You can't eat like everybody else then.
Yeah.
You have to make sacrifices. You have to wake up and go to the gym when you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't always in good shape.
You have to make sacrifices.
No.
More sacrifices than other people are going to have to make too. And one thing I've noticed, like when it comes to just like being consistent, for whatever reasons, like our demons do get the best of us at times. I used to be kind of a very flaky guy when it could come to like anything, just like making plans with my friends, even just going to grab a beer. It could be something simple as like, I'm gonna go grab my beer, and for whatever reason I wouldn't feel like going out. I'd maybe feeling like a little anxious, or I didn't feel like being social. You know what I mean? There was things that like I would think of all these excuses of why I didn't have to go out, and I would flake on them a lot. And I would notice that the few times I would just suck it up and I would go, going out with my friends and sticking to my commitments would make me feel so much fucking better. Like that shitty mood that I was feeling in that morning or feeling that day, whatever I woke up, they would all be gone because I followed through with my commitment. It's interesting how it works, actually. And I feel like when you stay home instead, and when you stay home instead of like going out to your commitments, that's when like your demons won. You know what I mean? All your demons and all these negative insecurities won, and they get stronger from that. Every time you flake, all that negative shit that's floating around in everyone's minds, they eat that. And they grow and and that weighs down on you more and more and more. And it's going to make it tougher for you to really like make that commitment and like stick through with it.
I thought of some actually that was interesting that I want some program or something out of. And it's this theory. And I feel that because right now I'm doing this hard 75 and I'm using this as a guinea pig for things for my book. Basically, what I realized, you play video games, right?
Not that much anymore, but yes, I used to all the time, to the point where it's bad. I would love to now. I'm too fucking busy.
But in a video game, you get to the next level.
Yeah.
Next level. Every time I want to give up on something or not go to the gym or not go out with a friend or not keep a commitment, and I don't give into that and I keep my commitment, it's like I level up. Like in a video game.
Yes.
And it's like I feel different, right? Because what you want, a lot of people have a lot of things they want in life.
Yeah.
A lot of people, everyone wants to be a millionaire, everyone wants to be rich, everyone wants to have a good body, everyone wants a good family. To have certain things, you have to level up and be a different version of yourself. Because for me, I'm building a multi-million-dollar business on self-improvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't skip things. I have to walk how I talk, and I have to be an example of that to people.
Yes.
Right? I have to be every level of success I get, I have to be a different person for that, right? Same with you.
Mm-hmm.
Every level that you get with what you're doing with your podcast, it requires a different Doug.
Yeah.
You can't be the same person.
I've changed a lot. I've learned what to talk about, what not to talk about on here. Like, I know the internet and just people love raw emotion. And when I first started doing these podcasts, it took me a while to get comfortable to like talk in front of the microphone, you know what I mean? And be on camera. And the only things I was really comfortable, like really opening up and speaking very passionately about was shit that was going on in like my personal life, but I would talk about like maybe a fight me and my ex had, or, of something that my friend did to piss me off. And I would talk about these things because I was hoping that it would get the views, you know what I mean? Like kind of this raw drama. But it actually ended up causing a lot of problems in my personal life because I know seriously, because I didn't communicate how I felt with these people before going on this podcast and talking about it. But that was, I don't know, and we've gotten over it, you know what I mean? I'm not with that girl anymore, but I've talked with some of my other friends who like I've said shit about and like they didn't like, there was some drama and things are all cleared up now. But when I think about it back to my early days, I was breaking through that wall of just really being able to get in front of a microphone and have that raw emotion and speak about how I feel about things. I think that's
beautiful. I think that's beautiful. And, there might be some times that I say things and people may hear things. And I even told my family, I said, listen, I'm an open book. don't listen to my podcast if you don't want to know things. If you don't want to know about sexual things, if you don't want to know about other things, don't. And that's hard. But if this is the thing, Doug, if you're going to be on this, you have to be real, and people are just going to have to deal with it.
Right. But I mean, you haven't run into the problem of like, I don't talk about romantic partners personally anymore on this shit. And anything, and if there's something that my friend did that bothered me, when it comes to my personal life now, I don't talk about shit unless I've already communicated with that person that, hey, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast, and making sure
that is true.
It's okay with them. You know what I mean? Because I want to make sure that level of respect there is now. But that was a learning experience for me. You know, you got to have some like podcasts. It's not as easy as it seems. I'm always afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing, right? And you're broadcasting shit on the internet, and everyone's going to hear it, and they're going to either make fun of you or call you names, call you a bigot, call you a racist. Like, the shitty thing about the internet is anyone can make something up about you, and like 50% of the people that see it are going to believe it.
Right. Well, and people can chop things and make them different.
Exactly. So, Kanelis, it says, that's fair, but you also need to be able to understand that it's also what makes you happy. 100%.
It's true.
You gotta do what makes you happy, Gypsy. You know,
I do, and that's what I've been. That's, you you gotta do what makes you happy, exactly. And if being around the wrong people,
you gotta let people make their own decisions in life too. That's something I've kind of just recently learned over the past year. And what I mean by that, like, it sounds so simple on its face, like, yeah, dog, have people make their own decisions. What I mean by that is, like, don't get upset for giving your friend advice and they go the opposite direction. I think it happens a lot when it comes to romantic relationships, where you tell your friend, like, oh, so-and-so's, like, why are you seeing this person? This person's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? They're cheating on you. They talk to you like this. You can see things that your friends can't. And it's easy for, like, you, especially if someone really close to you, it can be easy for us to get defensive and get upset. Like, why isn't, like, Angela listening to anything I tell her? I'm telling her about this dude. I'm giving her my advice. I see something that she's blind to, and she's not listening to me. Instead of getting worked up and, like, cutting those people off on that, I've learned you gotta let people live their life. Let them make their own decisions, and, like, stay in touch with them, and kind of and one day they will see everything that you fucking told them, you know, and be there for them when they're ready for that.
I hear this a lot from people. Wow, you're the only one that I can tell this to. Everyone else thinks I'm annoyed, or everyone else gets mad at me that I'm back with a person. But I've done that too. It's funny. It's like an inside joke. It's this time I mean it. You know, I like the guy that was in jail all the time that I was with. I'd be like, I'm never talking to him again. Even the more recent, I'm never talking to him. This time I mean it. And then, like, the next day. But the thing is, when you say I mean it, like, you're not lying in that moment. You really, in your heart, mind, body, and soul, you mean it. Mm-hmm. But you just end up, going back. And that's, it's not my place to judge people. I really like being that one person that people can talk to, because I've been there on the outside, you don't get it. It doesn't make sense, but that doesn't help. Like, the last thing people need is another person nagging at them. Yeah. It's their life. And if someone's not being horribly abused and it just isn't the nicest person, that's there. If you want to ask my advice, I'll give it. But I don't really like giving unsolicited advice. I don't think it's helpful. Right.
You can tell you can give the person, all this advice and tell them 1,000 times that so-and-so's not good for them. They're not going to choose to hear it until they're finally ready to.
Well, my ear, like, I've heard that from every guy I've ever been with. It's like, my ears aren't even open to that. It's like, it's like, wah, 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 wah. Right. Like, you don't even hear it.
And sometimes we're wrong. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't always know what's going on the inside. So I think one thing I've learned just, like, very recently, like, over this past year, is, like, I've learned to really just, like, I'll give people my advice, but at the end of the day, it's their decision. You're still my friend at the end of the day, and I'll be here for you. No matter what fucking happens. I might say I told you so and throw it in your face just to be a dick, but you got to stay there and be there with people.
I have my favorite saying that I say all the time. Anyone that knows me knows I say this all the time. Not my monkeys, not my circus. Not my fucking monkeys, and not my circus, and that's how I feel about it. Not my monkeys, not my circus.
Okay, I like that one.
Wash my hand. Not my monkeys, not my circus.
That's good. And then fucking get rid
It's
of
true.
it. Yeah.
Not my monkeys, not my circus. You know, I'm here to love people. I'm not here to tell you what to do, because there's enough people that do that. There are enough people that it's not. One of my favorite things. Do you know Seinfeld, right? The show.
No, I never watched that shit.
There's a show that's based on the guy that was in Seinfeld. It's called Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it's just one of my favorite moments ever. This guy he lives in Hollywood, and he works in the industry, and him and his wife are out to dinner with some other couples.
Mm-hmm.
And he orders a Cobb salad, and he's like, okay, I want a Cobb salad, but I want to change the dressing, and he want to change a few things. And the guy next to him starts getting, and he looks at him, he goes, why would you get a Cobb salad and change it and this and that? And he's so mad that the guy changes salad, and he stops and looks at him and goes, what the do you care what I put in my salad?
Right.
And it's just this thing of like, people care so much about that. Like, if someone changes their salad, why is it your business?
Yeah.
The fuck do you care what I put in my salad?
This is something I'm guilty of. I'm judging people how they order their steak. Like, why the fuck do I care if you eat a well-done steak at the end of the day when I think about it?
Can I tell something funny about that?
Yeah.
When I worked at Pins, this is kind of bad. I never asked people how they wanted their steak. I just assumed by, certain characteristics, and I was wrong 0 times.
Really? 0 times. You always.
I was always right.
You knew when they wanted
it. I knew
just
the type
bloody
of person.
as fuck.
I always knew. Well, it wasn't like a steak for hamburgers too. It wasn't but it wasn't a high class steakhouse. It was a regular place. But you could just certain people I don't really want to go into that.
Right. No worries. Kayla says some people need and or require hard lessons. Absolutely. That's when you have the most opportunity for growth, when you go through those hard lessons.
Yeah.
Gypsy, I did want to ask you something. So you're a beautiful girl who's on her grind a lot. What's that like? Because you're all over the place. I see you on Instagram. You're meeting people. You're shaking hands. You're kissing babies. And I feel like it's really hard for a lot of guys to maintain that level of professionalism around you. Is it true? How do you handle it when you're out there just trying to work and really network, and then half the dudes are trying to get in your pants?
It depends on the level of it, because, it's nice. If someone finds me attractive, that's nice. I don't want people to think I'm gross.
Yeah.
But when people cross the line too much and try to
But you meet a lot of people just on a work basis, I feel like.
Right,
you know what I
but
mean?
even
That's
on
what I'm
a
saying. I
work
see you
basis-
out there all the time. You're always meeting people. You're doing your thing. You're on your grind. You're networking. That's what I'm saying.
But no, it is when people cross a boundary, it does get kind of annoying. I'm trying to think of how to say this without giving details. I did an event, and the person that did the event, I met to talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was over, I just wanted to leave, and or when it was over, there was people there that were cool that I was hanging out with.
Right.
And the guy's like, oh, aren't you leaving? I was like, oh, I'm hanging out. And then he got kind of weird about it. And then to me, it made me feel uncomfortable. Why, I met other people that are cool. Why do I have to leave right away because you're leaving?
Did he invite you there? Can I ask? Or bring you there?
But it was completely professional. It wasn't a date. It was
but he bring you there though.
To talk about the event, and there was other people involved in the event.
So this other guy did bring you to the event, though. That's what I'm saying.
But it wasn't. He didn't bring me. So we were going to do the event a week later. This was pre-planning for it, and there's people there that are also involved in the event. They're like, "Oh, stay and hang out," and I was going to stay and hang out, and he's like, "Oh, well, aren't you leaving?" Because I am and it was just kind of this weird boundary of okay, I'm being in your event, but you're not my man. I don't know. It's just, and how people have been acting kind of too. Honestly, it makes me very happy that I'm single, because I'm realizing, what you said, I'm really friendly. I couldn't do what I want to do if I had someone constantly nagging at me.
A lot of people confuse friendliness for flirting, especially when it's a woman.
Huge problem. Lexi has that problem too, my friend, where because I'm really nice to people, a lot of people think I want them, and right. It's a hard situation because I don't want to pull back.
Thing. I can't even tell you
what's
how.
Up? And dance with people, and then they think that I want to marry them.
Yeah,
no,
when you're
don't.
shaking your ass on them, I mean, that's
okay. If I shake my butt on someone, it's someone very far to like a certain scale, like not someone like.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, 10 out of 10 dudes, if you shake your ass on them, they're gonna assume it's flirting.
I don't do that much. I don't do that much. I more so just like hug or like you just kind of like dance like this or like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
But it's just my personality. But I'm glad you brought that up because it is a challenge. A lot of people think that, you know, I have romantic interest because I'm friendly, but I don't want to just not be friendly anymore because of that and be one of the girls that's like, oh, get away from me.
Yeah.
So what? How
and then
should
the
I deal with
ultimate
it?
goal is kind of like, it's on the dudes most of the time because we're horny bastards. We can't keep it on in our pants. But it's like, it sucks how you can just be a little bit like too friendly sometimes. And then the relationship that one started off of work, whether it's like you were doing there for marketing or crypto, whatever it is that you want to connect with these people with, it's now like destroyed because there's like this awkward like sexual tension for some reason, you know?
I don't think that there's
Like,
ever been ones that were destroyed. I wasn't
maybe not destroyed, but they're not as strong as they used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that I was in a weird situation where I met this guy off a Clubhouse who the day before I told my story about how I just got my LLC, and 3 years exactly before I was an alcoholic and all this stuff that's coming. And he's like, oh, I want to meet you. I really want to work with you. So he flew in. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I don't care. Fuck it. He flew into town and within like 30 minutes, he's like a really successful guy. And he's like, I want to help you, this and that, but you needed to commit to me. And I'm like, what? And then basically told me like, he wants to be with me. I need to commit to him and all this weird stuff. And then
See, that's like a power move, like manipulated.
Well, and
almost.
he's like, well, if I help you, you're going to be successful. And like the higher up your guys are going to want you and you needed to be mine. And it's like, why would you fly here then? Because and it made me feel, it was so invasive. And then he wanted me to also pick up my son and meet him and be at a hotel with him. I'm like, fuck no. I'm not. A, I have no interest in you at all. And B, the fact that I tell you I'm not comfortable picking up my son and you're going to get mad at me about that. And I tell you I'm not interested in you. Red flags.
Yeah.
And then I tell you I'm not interested in you. Like that's scary. And that shows right off the bat that you don't care how I feel. Do you know how many times a guy will tell me, and I'm not even fucking playing with you, Doug. This honestly pisses me off. Oh, we're meant to be together, this and that. And I say, I don't like you in that way. No, you don't know what you want. I don't know what I want. Like how, like that is so egotistical.
Yeah.
Like, and that guy did that, the Clubhouse guy. Oh, you don't know what you want.
It's like playing mind games with you. They're trying to manipulate you. You know what I mean?
You're right. I don't know what I'm a human
Why don't
being.
you tell me what I want?
Exactly. Like it's weird. And it's just, I don't know. And especially too, since I decided this thing where I'm not, having sex, so, there's certain people that aren't used to hearing no. And it, like that Clubhouse guy, because he has money, he thinks he could buy me. Guess what?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Freedom is priceless. I'm not going to pretend I love you.
Especially when he gets away with that with like, who knows how many other girls. He thinks like every single woman out there is like that. No. And this is the thing for me. I am not at the complete level that I'm about to be at. Manifest that shit. But I've had multiple guys that just like, I'll take care of you, do everything, but my freedom is priceless. You don't want someone to take care of you.
Right. Well, I want my freedom. I want to be able to do what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to pretend that I'm in love with someone that I don't want. It's not worth it. It's not. Because when I do, get back into my grind and do things. First of all, I'm probably going to end up like hospitalized or something when I actually go back at it. But when I do that, I want someone that is like, oh, baby. And like, I want to have amazing sex. I want to have someone that's super chill. And I want all these things. I'm not going to just settle because so I can have material things sooner than I can buy them for myself because I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? But it's not worth it. Like, what about you? Would you have a sugar mama?
Yeah, I'd be open to it, but as long as I still am able to be on my grind and do my own thing. What if you're
unattracted to her and she was super needy and super clingy?
Well, no, see, I wouldn't be with someone who I would be like super unattracted to. I think there has to be some physical attraction there.
See, none of these guys, none of them I'm attracted to, and then they're all clingy and
So Kayla says, I think the big problem comes from mixed messages and people, meaning both male and female, have an issue with communication. I think it's important for both people to be direct and honest as possible. Agreed. Communication is everything, but most people aren't very good at communicating. Like, that's the problem. And as I was saying, like right before I read his messages there, I think for me, couldn't be with a sugar mama, even if she paid for everything, if I didn't have some sort of physical attraction. I think true love, you love them. You love with them physically, mentally, and spiritually. That's like my saying. Like, you check all three, there's true love there. Not to sound shallow, but everyone has some standards. I don't care whether you want to fucking men or not. Everyone does. First of all, when you first meet someone, when you first see someone, whether you're on Tinder or at a bar, you literally know nothing about the person other than you're physically attracted to them. There's something instantly that kind of draws you. That's drawing you. Like, oh, like she's cute. Like, everyone's kind of met that person. Like, you met a girl or a guy, and you get kind of flustered. You know what I mean? There's those butterflies in there right away. That, to me, is like, okay, chase those butterflies, you know what I mean, with that person and see where that physical attraction lead to. And then, like, over time, you can see if you guys connect mentally. Well, like Kayla says, like, do you guys connect mentally where you're both really honest with each other and communicate with each other? And then do you connect spiritually, like, after that?
There's two things I want to say. Looks can completely change. Like, there can be someone that I'll see, like, across the room and think he's cute, and the second he opens his mouth, be like, yuck. Like, the ways people talk, they're like, teeth
is the big one for me. I've seen some girls that are like, oh, cute, and then they smile. It's like,
no, that can be too, but also I'm very stimulated mentally, and so if someone isn't like intellectual or isn't that smart or even more unattractive, a closed mind, or the person that gets offended about stuff, like, that can make someone really unattractive. Or there's people that you wouldn't be as attracted to, but because they have like a chill persona, or they're so fun, or like, there's this one guy that was kind of chubby and not that cute that it was at my cousin's wedding, but he could dance really good, and he had just such like a fun, and I was like,
good energy,
and then I was like, damn, there's something cute. This was like years ago, but it just showed how that can change. Secondly, this is what I want to say. It's so funny about standards, because when I worked at Match.com, I would get calls. You
worked at Match?
No, not only did I work at Match, this is when I was pregnant, I answered the 1-800 number at Match.com. Okay, let me repeat that. I answered the 1-800 number at Match.com.
Well, what did you do over there?
So when there's a problem,
someone would call you.
There's a problem, they call that number and I answer. First of all, there was always a problem with technical issues where people would call because they've sent out 100 emails and no one has replied.
Yeah, that's a technical issue. I'm not getting any matches. Something must be fucked up.
Blocked it because they also give you a score, right? And if you get a bunch of like ones, you can get written up and get fired. So you don't want to get a 1, right? Well, you don't want to tell someone, oh, by the way, there isn't a technical issue. So everyone would just try to like send it to the technical team, but they blocked it. You're telling me that I sent out 100 messages?
Yeah.
And the thing too is you weren't supposed to, but you can go in and like look at the message they send. There's this guy that looks like Borat or whatever, you know.
Borat.
Yeah,
yes. The movie dude.
That would send these like super hot chicks messages saying, I see that you drink. You're going to quit drinking. I see that you want a guy with money. You have to settle for a guy that has the money. You're going to be with me. And it's like, okay. But the reason I'm bringing up Match.com, which I have funny stories that I'll say another time, is there's so many guys that call in and be like, I want to complain. There's all the fat chicks on the site, and it's a guy that's 300 pounds. You're fucking fat, dude. No, I'm serious. And they always call and complain. And these guys want a bikini model. And like, if you're a billionaire, yeah, you can have a bikini model and be 300 pounds. But if you just like work at a gas station and you're like 47 years old and you're 300 pounds, you're not going to get Pamela Anderson. I'm sorry, but you're not.
You really got to have that fuck you money if you're... If you're 300 pounds and you're trying to pull supermodels in bikinis.
Right. And just like a regular guy. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And it's so funny how these guys have these standards of what they want. And it's like
unrealistic standards. That's another thing that I've learned out through life. You know, you're not always, no, you can have unrealistic standards with everything. Like, especially when it comes to the dating world. I don't think any relationship out there is perfect. I think it's like, it's a guy and a girl that that love each other and they're not willing to give up. I think that's what I learned from my parents, because everyone fucking fights, everyone has disagreements and shit. And kind of like with the podcast we talked about last week, people are so quick to be like, okay, fine, go. Oh, fine, I'm going to go find someone else. You want to find two, it's just about two people that are committed to each other and committed to solving problems all the way to the end of life together.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like Tony Robbins said, never, ever in a fight say, let's not be together. And that was my biggest problem, because any relationship I had, the slightest inconvenience, the slightest pissed off, fine, let's not be together. Because then I would want to be validated. But you can't, once you plant that seed of the possibility, you can't do it.
And then what that does for like the other partner, like it makes your partner scared to maybe bring up certain topics, you know what I mean? Certain things that they may be like feeling inside, because they're worried that any sort of like tough conversation you're going to have with this person, they're going to threaten to leave you. And it's like, I feel like men nowadays, at least like my generation, millennials, well, I think we're more like, one thing with technology, it's made us like a little more insecure, probably a little more awkward too at times. But I think for the most part, guys my age and millennials and plus, we're a lot better at expressing our emotions than some of the older guys. Society has really broken down the walls a lot over the past 20 years of that men can't be emotional and men can't cry and, you know, men can't do this. All these things that, you know, of masculinity have really been broken down. And I would say broken down, I would say rebuilt, where it's like, no, masculine men should be able to really be emotionally intelligent and express themselves how they feel, especially with their romantic partner.
Well, I agree with that also, because if you have a guy or someone that doesn't express their feelings, have fun with that, because you're gonna have holes in the fucking walls. Okay, they're gonna get drunk and put holes in the wall. Yeah. Like that's you have to be able to talk, and I think it is just so important for people to be able to communicate. And what you said before is, if people are scared then to communicate, that's you're just going to drift farther and farther apart. Mm-hmm. Like bringing back to earlier. Hey, you seem insecure, babe. What's up? Why do you feel that way? Why do you think I'm going to leave you? Why do you think that I'm going to, what can I do to make you feel better? What can I do to make you feel safe?
Yeah.
What can I do to make you feel good? I really don't think a lot of people are having these conversations, because I never had them.
And not a lot of people go that route either. It's so easy for us to get defensive when your partner's insecure or upset with you about something. And sometimes you got to take a deep breath and just almost like be the bigger person. You know what I mean? Remind yourself that relationships are 50-50, but there's going to be those days where you're going to have to do, it's going to be 90-10. You know, and don't get upset on days where you have to put in extra work, whether that's physically or emotionally. Just that's fucking part of the deal when you got in a relationship with this person.
Well, another thing that's not helpful is, say someone's like, okay, I'm not going to snap on you anymore. I'm not going to get mad. And then they do. There you go again. I thought you said you weren't going to do that anymore. See, shit like that. That's not helpful.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, yeah. I did that. Yeah. I would do that. And it's just really learning people and accepting that and just trying to grow and become better. But like what you said too, communication is key. But I feel like a lot of people feel scared they can't say things.
Right.
And they can't, or they have to like lie about things because they'll get accused.
Mm-hmm. It happens a lot. Caneless, that happens to me with smokers. A girl could be super hot, but if she smokes, it changes everything for me. I would say this. I actually dated a couple girls that used to smoke. I'm a non-smoker. I don't think that's kind of a deal breaker for me also. I think that's one of the toughest things, is dating someone who smokes when you don't.
Well,
that's like, yeah, it's tough. That's a tough one.
It stings. We're like, say I was with a guy that was an alcoholic. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I can't do that. Like, there's certain things, there's certain non-negotiables.
But you can be around people drinking, though. Right. You go out and stuff and hang out with your friends.
Of course, I'm a fucking bartender. Like, you know what I mean? But if I'm with a guy that every morning he wakes up and takes 3 shots of vodka and is drinking throughout the entire day, every day, I like the lifestyle.
Yeah.
I really am, and a lot of people are really influenced. My ex-boyfriend was an Olympic athlete, you know, an MMA fighter. Guess what? I got the best body of my life because I'm around someone that's their routine, is working out all the time. So that became my routine.
Yeah.
Watch how certain people things will change. I mean,
things rub off on you.
Right. People rub off on you. And it is very imperative about the people that you are around. Very.
Mm-hmm. Both romantic and friendly. Like, I didn't know you dated an MMA fighter. What? Yeah.
That was the one that would tell me everything I need to change in life, which helped.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? I think I want to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and compete. I don't know why. I have this. I think from not having sex, I have this.
Now you're just angry.
Well, I want to do one of two things. I just either want to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and compete, or I want to become a dominatrix. But this is the problem.
That's why you're like whipping dudes and shit, tying them up, fucking them up.
I'll beat the shit out of you and I'll call you names, but I'm not trying to like put a dildo on someone's ass, like, or none of that. But
you'll slap the shit out of him.
Yeah, well, but this is the thing. You're helping them because some people need that. So I will.
I mean, if that's what dudes are into.
Yeah, but is that completely because I'm like I'm Gypsy Awakens LLC about love and positivity, but then I'm a dominatrix. So is that kind of like not work with my brand?
Oh, there's a balance there, I would say. That's like one side of Gypsy. And then you have like the darker side. Everyone's got their demons, maybe your demon's the dominatrix.
But and I love acting. So it's like I can be good at that. So I was like, that could be something. And then I could research the people that like why do you like to be someone to yell at you and beat you?
Right.
Can you picture me doing that or no?
I actually can. Yeah. I can see you getting into it.
You can see me being a dominatrix?
Yeah. I could see you putting like a mask on too. going
It'd be fun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If it would be fun for you. I don't think that stuff's not for me. You do you. I don't think we even have any of those here in Minnesota. If we do, I don't know where they are.
I researched and because I don't want to do it myself. I can't believe the stuff I'm saying, but whatever, open book. Here you go. I don't want to do it myself because like I don't know who the person is, but if it's a dominatrix lady that already has her thing set up.
Imagine what training's like with that. When you first get hired a job, you always like shadow someone and you're following them around. And like that first day, she's like, all right, come on, we're going to go, go dominant on this dude. You guys dressed up with your mask and your leather straps. You got your belt. You're fucking clacking it. She tells you, she's like, all right, now go sit on his lap and just smack the shit out of his face.
That
would be an interesting first day.
Well, if I do it, I'll tell you. So I had another weird thing too. This guy messaged me on Snapchat. I just like all these random people that add me, and I'm just like, fuck it, because then if I post something,
it's all about the clout.
Well, if I post something, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm the
like
same
this.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. And I don't do anything. But he was like, I will pay you $500 for pictures of your toes. And like,
you should have done it.
Okay, here's the deal. First of all, I'm not like doing anything sexual, even regardless. So, but like pictures of my toes, that's not sexual. But at the same time, it was just, I don't know. And so I'm
jealous that girls get offers like that. I'd have no fucking problem sending someone a picture of my feet. Well, it pisses me off.
Listen to the thing. So I was like, okay, give me more details or whatever. And then the guy's like, oh, well, you need to go get a pedicure and get this color. And I was like, no, I wear white toe.
Get them nice.
And then it's like, and then he said,
like, oh, you got to clip your nails.
He wanted a certain color. And I was like, honestly, this is too much. Like, if you just want a picture of my toes for $500, I'll do it. But I'm not going to like change my manicure and this and that. And it just seemed all sketchy. But isn't that funny?
Yeah, you should have told him you have to pay for the pedicure. And
he said he would, but I don't want. But I always have my white and my white. I don't.
Okay, you don't like going off from the white.
No, that's just like my thing now.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what's with the long nails? Can you not like grab anything with that? Like,
here's the deal.
I know it's your own thing. Some girls do it, some girls don't.
I don't feel like myself. I like everything long. I like my long lashes, long hair,
long dick.
Maybe
set yourself up for that one.
Maybe. But here's the thing. The only thing I can't do with my nails is grab out my credit card out of the parking tickets or some certain gas places. I have to go in and get gas because I can't do my. But other than that, I can do everything. When I don't have my nails, I feel wrong. I don't feel like I'm me. I feel like I'm missing an arm or something.
You don't feel like Gypsy.
I don't feel like Gypsy. I feel like I'm missing an arm or like it doesn't feel right.
Right.
It's weird. But there's also a lot of like things people think. Like people think that
there's a lot of stereotypes that come with
that I like to suck dick and that I'm a slut.
If you have long nails and fucking hoop earrings, they think it's easy. She's got them. all the stereotypes. Isn't it funny the stereotypes that come with just like fashion, you know? You got long nails and the hoop earrings. You got dudes like the dudes that wear like their jeans down to their knees and then have like a pair of shorts on and you can see their boxers. They got fucking like 3 levels of pants.
I don't get it.
Yeah, dude, I saw a guy, I was at work the other day, I shit you not, he was doing it. He almost like tripped going to the bathroom. Like I saw him like stumble and he like grabbed his pants off. Like, why do you guys do that? Is that attractive? The guys who like show like half their ass like that.
I don't get it. You look sloppy.
Yeah,
like a little bit is cute, but like just like if like
yeah, maybe like a little bit. I won't hate on. I would not. But
I'm not trying to see your ass. Like that's doing too much. It's not cute.
Well, to the point where it's like you can't walk. You're like waddling. You know, because you can't bend your knees because they're fucking your pants are like halfway down and you're like just constricting your range of motion. You can't even walk normally. What do I know though?
I think that when I hear that, I think of like the guys at like the mall that will like yell things at me.
Yeah, the cat calls, Mall of America.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Damn girl.
And I think sometimes too, does that work? Because people do it.
Yeah, it has to.
What I get a lot of unsolicited dick pics on Facebook.
See,
of all places.
I never understood that.
This is the thing though. It must work because why would you keep doing it? Like people, if things never worked, people would change up the method and do that. And a lot of them are from like foreign countries, which is weird.
Okay, what's more effective though? Sending a dick pic or just saying, hey? I would probably, honestly,
I ignore both.
I'd probably say sending a dick pic's more effective than just sending, hey, what's up? I think too many guys, like they try to be too courageous with it. You know, I get that when you're kind of in the online dating scene, you're trying to slide in DMs. It can be tough. You know what I mean? I did Tinder and Bumble and that shit for all that while. You don't want to say, hey, what's up? Because it's so cliche and boring. Right. I would always try to ask a question or just say something like kind of stupid, you know? And I think the dick pic guys, they're just going for the home run. The 3-pointer, the 80-yard touchdown pass. Like,
I want to say something about that.
Penises aren't attractive, most, like, right? Have you ever gotten a dick pic? You're like, okay, it's a nice penis.
Well, no one that I've ever really been with has sent me like pictures because I've seen it. But this is my thing that I will never understand, okay? There's guys out there that will always be like, yeah, I got a big dick. I don't give a shit how big your dick is if you're fucking ugly and nasty, right? Yeah. But there's guys that think just because they have a big one that I'm gonna want you. Like but explain that though. Like if there's a woman that has a tight vagina but she's gross and you don't like her, do you still want to put it in there?
Right.
Because I could easily buy a dildo any size I want. I can buy one this big if I wanted to. Yeah. I don't, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's not, but
it's guys... got hooked up to a fucking motor.
Right. Like, if I really wanted to. Guys think that if they have a big one, that all of a sudden... all the other, like, I don't want to, like, if I don't like you, I don't want you. I don't want to look at your face. I don't care how big your dick is. Mm-hmm. But I literally hear that because my dick's big. So?
Yeah. But they just say that though. What if it's not actually that big?
But even if it is, though, well, there's been some people though, you know, that it's been verified, or like girls be like, oh yeah, he's whatever. No, I fucked him. He's whatever, but his dick's big. So, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does it really? Why would you fuck someone that's nasty just because they have a big dick? Who cares?
Is it hard to find a dude with a big dick? Because I feel like girls like that, maybe they're just all the guys they met, they haven't been maybe satisfied with the sizes that they've had. You know what I mean? So
that's a
maybe they
thought I had.
Maybe they do meet one guy that has a big dick or has that fulfilling size for them, and then. From there, you kind of create that really intense, like, sexual passion that you were talking about earlier that they weren't having before.
Right.
So then they're like, okay, well, I hate everything else about this dude, or this dude's ugly, but he's got the big dick, which took me like 25 years to find, finally.
So now, if I'm not celibate Gypsy, okay, and someone's like, oh, this guy's a big dick. But if I hear, oh my God, this guy is super passionate. He threw me against the wall. He tied me up. He this and that. And I wasn't attracted to him at first. My little thing, that to me, hearing about someone, because finding someone that is a really good lover is not easy, especially because nowadays people are so detached when they do it. Someone that's super passionate and like that is something that would kind of make me, I wouldn't necessarily do it, but it would get my interest going. But hearing, oh, he's just a big dick, like that doesn't,
right?
You know what I mean? It's more
gets it just going. It's like he's got a small dick, but he's worth it. You know, everything else is a lot better. Here, Caneless has a question for you. Okay, fair question. Have you found someone attractive and came to find that they didn't have a big member and it changed your mind?
That has not happened before, and I really hope it never happens.
It's happened to one of our friends, you know, that we know, one of our mutual friends, and I know some other people out there that it's probably happened to.
Yeah, I know someone that she, this older lady said there was a guy that was the sexiest guy in high school, and years later she always had a crush on him. She met up with him and to hook up, and she said it was a minuscule.
Yeah.
She said you couldn't even that. See, that's the thing. I'm not hating on big dicks, okay? I think they're a blessing and they're amazing. I'm just saying I'm not going to hook up with someone just because of that. They have to be passionate.
They have to have
be a
more
good
than
lover.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't want a small one either, because that wouldn't be fun.
Right.
That wouldn't be fun.
I think, but even some girls like small ones too. You know,
not me.
Not you. But you're taller though. I think like, you know, the short girls, you know, kind of like the saying, no, small dick looks big in a little girl's hands. Like if you're like a little 5'2" girl, whatever, you don't need some 9-incher. That's probably a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I thought about that the other day too. I was like, I have weird thoughts. That would be really sad if like you're a guy, like you can't really help your size. You know what I mean? I mean
they sell pills and pumps and all that shit for it, but I'd be surprised.
But like that's
any
sad.
Of that's
Think about it.
Legit.
You can't help that. Just like something, you know, if they're like a midget, or you know, if someone is missing an arm, like there isn't really much you can do.
Yeah, and I don't know. You just gotta. I think if you are a guy, you're like, you never want to be too insecure with your size. You know what I mean? Even if you have a small dick, you gotta walk around and act like you got that big dick energy. You know what I mean?
That's
you can have big dick energy instead of a small dick. You know, and like. I've heard the cliche saying, it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion in the ocean. You know, you agree with that? I think most people agree with that, you know? Right.
Well, like I said, if there's someone that just has a big dick and he's just the type that like...
But he comes in like 2 minutes.
Or just... And then if there's a guy that's... Like, I'm super big about passion. If he's like super passionate and intense, but it's not as big as that, like I would choose that over just...
And I think that's right. It's also healthy for guys to like... not watch as much porn too, because all the dudes on there just have these monster cocks, right? And you get so used, if you're someone who's like really addicted to it, you know what I mean, and you're logging on the hub every day and you're seeing these guys, these big dicks, and they're fucking really hard, and you're not nowhere near that size of them, like mentally you start to think that yourself that every guy is like that other than you. And it's not true. Like those guys, like they're porn stars for a reason. You know, it's like comparing yourself to fucking an NBA player. Like you're not a professional athlete, dude. Like
that's interesting. I never even knew that guys could have those particular insecurities.
I think some do. You know, like I've gotten to the point like with myself. I think it's good to know that there's always somebody hotter than you. There's always somebody with a bigger dick than you too. You know what I mean? That helps me not be insecure in relationships. Knowing that there's somebody like just more physically attractive to me, and it makes me more attractive to my, like, I know that there's hotter women than my girlfriend, but I'm still with her because it's not all about that looks for me. You know what I mean? There's so much else that I love about her that keeps me with her.
One thing I want to ask you also, when two people just meet and they vibe, right, and they just click like that, what do you think that? Because I've had that with some people.
Yeah.
And then there's people where it's awkward. What is it that makes other than like energy? Like what is it that makes two people just click? And
I don't know, but one thing I have like. Okay, with women that I've clicked with right away, instantly, you have all this energy and there's fucking flames and there's sparks, there's this and that, but it can burn out really fast too. I've learned this in those type of relationships. I think some people are they're very social, and the best part of relationships are usually always the beginning. It's new, it's fun. You guys are always saying yes, and you just want to have a good time. You don't really have any commitments with each other, and you're not really thinking about the long term, So it's very easy to just sit down and kind of be open for maybe this person is they're filling something that you're missing out on in life, But I think the problem with that is like sometimes things start off so hot and so passionate, 3 to 6 months down the road, that intensity dies down. And then you guys start to wonder, well, like what happened along the way? Like, why aren't we at this intense level like we used to be? So I think I would argue that it's almost better to just connect with a person and slowly grow over the years.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too about why some people have affairs, because when you first meet someone, it's all fun. It's all fun. You meet, is he going to text me? Am I going to text her?
Yeah.
You go have an adventure. Then when you settle down, it's like we have to go to bed and wake up for work in the morning, and we need to pay our bills.
And you run out of stuff to talk about. One thing I liked about when I first started seeing a girl, it's like, it was so easy to have a conversation with, because you don't know anything about them. You can literally ask them anything, and then it's really easy to get them open up and get them to start talking, and pretty soon you're at the brewery and 3-4 beers have went by, 6 hours later, she's still talking, and then she's finally realized, like, holy crap, I've been talking this whole time. Then she starts asking you questions, and now you can open up, your whole world too. But once you've been together with someone 3-4 years, it's like you know all their stories, what's happened in the past, you met the family, you've met all their friends, and it's like it can be very easily, it's easy to run out of things to talk about, I should say. See, with that romantic partner.
Most of my relationships end around the 2.5 years period, but I actually like the best like a year deep in, because I just like being comfortable with someone and still having fun, and I don't like the stuff in the beginning where you can't be yourself or you feel kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's awkward to fart. That first fart, or whatever.
I want to be. I like a year in, but I was always toxic. So like around the 2-year period, we've broken up about 100 times, and we have a lot of like lies and things. So I now going forward in the next, whenever it will be, but for the next person, I don't know. But I like when I'm comfortable with someone. I do. I like that better.
Yeah, I think everyone does. That's why I kind of like. As I've been getting older, I don't really like I've never been single too long. Like the past 3 years, when I've gone on a relationship, I've actually met the next girl that I dated for about a year, probably within like the first month or two. And it kind of makes me seem like a relationship, but that's just the way the cards.
How do you meet people like that?
That's just the way the cards fell. I swear to God. I did not go out there. I wasn't on Tinder. Things just when you just let things happen organically, that's when the best relationships are made. I've noticed when I'm really out there, like there's been like in my early and mid 20s when I was single for long periods of time, and I was really like, I want a girlfriend, I want to meet someone, this and that. And I'm on Tinder, I'm on Bumble, I'm like fucking getting taken advantage of by girls at the bar by giving them free shit. They're not giving me their numbers. You know what I mean? I'm trying. When you're really searching for something, it's very hard to find that. So I've learned you just got to go with the flow and let things kind of develop organically. And those have been actually my strongest relationships. I was not looking for. They just happened,
I've never actually like successfully met someone on like an online thing. What's crazy is when in March or the February, the one that I had the thing with, I made a Tinder because I just wanted someone to just kick it and smoke weed with and listen to music and have fun. I didn't want a man. I literally just wanted to have just people to kick it with. Me and my friend were like, I just want some cool ass people that we can kick it, listen to music, maybe take some Molly or go to a club, just like fun people to hang out. And then I met someone and I just vibed like crazy. But yeah, you're completely right. When you really are looking for it, that you don't really find that. You have to, and like where I am right now, I'm not at a place where I even want a relationship.
Yeah, but I think you would though. Like if you met someone you vibed with and you found attractive and they're kind of checking the boxes, I think you would want to experiment to, see where things go. Well, like I've told my buddy, a good friend of mine, having trouble with this girl he was talking to, and she hit him with the line, I'm not ready for a relationship yet. And I say, dude, you're not going to want to hear this like that. That's a nice way of saying I'm not ready to be in a relationship with you. Oh, I don't want to be in a relationship with you.
Someone said that.
Because if fucking Tom Cruise walked in, she'd be ready. Or whoever, like, celebrity crushes, like certain people walk in, they'd be ready for it.
That I agree with that 100%. If the person is completely right, people will say that. So if a guy and a girl are kind of hooking up for like a year, I hear about this all the time, whatever, and the guy's like, oh, I don't relationship. But if she was like the right woman for that guy, he would want to settle down. 100%. I completely agree with that. Like in my mind right now, I'm like, I don't want anybody. I can't picture that.
Yeah.
But what's hard too is it's like, my son's 9 and he wants a sibling. And it's like,
for sure.
And so it's like, it's this weird thing but I'm working on myself. I'm doing my podcast. I'm traveling. I'm,
and you can't do all those things once you have a kid.
Right. And then if I have a kid right now, or even, my son just wants a family. And then that's what sucks is because what if I meet a guy that he really likes and clicks to, but I don't like him that much. But then what if there's a guy that's not really like a kid person, but that I vibe with? And it's this hard balance when you're a single parent. And like I said, my son is like, Mom, I want you to find a man. And it's like, I'm not going to just be with someone to be with someone. Like if I'm going to do that, it's going to be someone that I really fucking vibe with.
Have you told him just like Mom's focusing on her career right now and kind of stuff like that? Try to communicate with them on that. He
understands, but it's just, that's a hard thing about it. It is.
Kids make things like obviously like 1,000 times more complex and complex. I dated one girl that had a 5-year-old kid, and she was a single mom also. And I actually loved her kid. Like she was awesome. It had nothing to do with the reason that we broke up, but it definitely made me feel like there's a lot more responsibility. I don't want to say luggage, you know what I mean? Because that has negative, like, connotation with, oh, this kid, they have all this extra luggage. It's like, no, just, it is what it is, And at first I was turned off to like, you know what? I'm never going to date a girl with another kid. And like my buddy who actually was raised by a single mom, he goes, dude, like the world needs more stepdads. Like you asked a lot. I have a lot of friends that only had single parents. They wish they did have a family over there. So if there's anyone listening to this, and if you're in a relationship with a kid, don't let a kid be a deal breaker in it.
To me, it is.
Because there's a lot of really?
I don't. And what's funny is all of my friends that are single moms, they also have that. They don't want a guy with kids. But this is the thing. Typically, the mom is the one that the guy leaves. To me, if you got a girl pregnant, why are you not trying to be a family? And I want my own family with a kid. And you're not going to be able to spend all of your time and attention if there's another kid. Like that's the thing with me. If the second I find out a guy has a kid, I don't want anything to do with him.
Really?
It's a total double standard, but a lot of women have that too.
Yeah.
But the guy, you should be there for your kid, because most of the guys, they have a kid, but why are you not putting all of that in there?
Yeah.
To your own child. And then if you are, you're not gonna be able to do that for mine. And I mean, if like the woman died, I could work with that. Like if the woman died and I could adopt the son and we could be a family. But if the baby mama,
it's the baby mama's
and the drama and stuff. Like the thing with me,
you're gonna be on a murder story, kill the baby mama.
But this is the thing. I have no drama. My son's dad lives in California. He never talks. He never he doesn't exist. So because I have with no drama and a son with loving arms, that's different. Like I bring no drama to the table. All my son does is would add someone positive to your life, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, I mean, tell me how many situations that there's no drama. And if you have no drama, what is it, because you're not a part of their life?
Right.
How many guys say, "Oh, my baby mama's crazy." What? Because you don't fucking help and you had a kid with someone?
Yeah. All of them. I feel like most people, everyone calls their exes crazy, I feel like.
Right. Why are they crazy?
I don't do that anymore, honestly. I think it's just people being immature.
It makes you look bad.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It makes you look bad.
And I think it's people that don't want to admit to their own imperfections and their own flaws, things that they do. It's like, oh, she's crazy. It's like,
Rock, she call you cheated on you all the time, you piece of shit? Like, yeah. What? That's a red flag.
Yeah. When they call their ex crazy. Another red flag.
Because why is she crazy?
Right.
Why is she crazy?
Tell me why.
Right. Women, this is the thing from understanding psychology. Women most of the time crazy over nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did
True.
you do? What did you do to make someone to make them think certain things about you and then leave, or tell them you love them and then lie to them about that and go and do this? Like, typically the guys that say that, why are they crazy?
Right.
What are they? Because if you're a pretty nice guy, that's not. I mean, there are people that do have some mental issues, but more often than not, it's because they were provoked.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm just trying to justify crazy.
Wait.
I'm trying to justify, but
No, you're not trying to justify. You're making a really good point, though. Like, there probably are some chicks that, like, they have some deep-rooted issues, whether it's daddy issues, insecurities, and maybe they are very crazy and controlling off the bat. But I think a lot of guys do make, or whatever situation that you're in, one person makes the other person crazy, and
Right.
you don't see that what it is that you're doing all the time. That's really fucking just making your partner lose it.
No, absolutely. And accountability. Like I said, the big thing is holding yourself accountable. For me, I looked back, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe used to do.
Right.
It's terrible, but
well, you've matured a lot since then. We all have. Like, the people that, like, don't really mature, they're the ones that are calling their exes crazy. And they'll go on and they'll make the next person that they're with go crazy, and the next person. See, if you can't learn what you did wrong from any of your past relationships, chances are you're never going to have a successful one in the future. I feel bad for the guy that I was, in my previous relationships.
Me too.
I don't regret, like, breaking up with them, you know what I mean? Or, like, I am who I am today because, we've broken up and I was able to mature and see the things or whatever. And I'm with someone that I love very much right now. So I'm glad, like, everything's happened in life. But I was able, like, those situations, like those tough heartbreaks really helped me grow the most as a person, dude, and see a lot of my own flaws. They helped me mature a lot. They helped me, like, just how I treat people. You know what I mean? They've really changed my mindset, how I treat and talk and respect women too.
The last thing that the guy that I was with, he said, you can have that you always want if you change. And he said, and that stuck with me. And whoever I'm with, be his people. Because people, when you come home, your house, your home should be the one place where it's a safe haven, not where you're fucking fighting all the time.
Right.
And I realized that. Be his peace.
Yeah. Be peaceful.
Be peaceful.
Especially you have so much just going out in the world
in life,
nowadays,
and then you come back and the work. Then there's just bitching and that's why people cheat. Honestly, I mean,
and that's why they don't want to go home. Yeah.
There are shitty people out there, but I think some of the people, going back to what I was saying earlier, where people then get to their mundane life, and which. You can have life fun. You can make it fun. But a lot of people that have a mundane life, then they have this affair because it's an escape from everything.
Yes.
Just like when you first meet someone, it's an escape.
Yep. It's fun. Everything we talked about, like when you first start seeing someone, like all those sparks that fire, it's something new. It's this, it's that. Like, that's what people are craving in those long-term relationships. And that's what people have. And it's funny, most people that have affairs and cheat, you end up regretting it later on because those flames die down, and eventually you don't want a fire with someone. You want a fucking village. You know what I mean? You want to build with someone, and that's what you're doing with a lot of these your long-term partners that you end up destroying because you don't have those same sparks that you used to have, and it can be tough. Like, it can be tough to keep that. I've learned, like, I'm a pretty sexually active person too, but I learned, like, if you're having sex with your girlfriend every single day, multiple times a day, like, things can, like, get boring. You know what I mean?
See, I disagree with that.
Really? Think so? I don't know.
But I feel
like when I don't want to say get boring, like, I want to say, just if you can take just like a 2 to 3 day break, even like a week break, like when you guys like get intimate, then it's like, holy shit, I miss this again. It feels like, kind of the first time when you guys hooked up again. You know, someone who just like wait a couple hours though, but
well, maybe because I'm.
And that's a more personal.
The guy
thing,
that I was with though for 2.5 years, I remember I found like a hair at his house. This was like before things were. We were still not together, but I was like, if we're gonna be having sex without a condom, and I find out you're hooking up with other people, I'm not trying to get AIDS. Like, you need to be honest with me. And he lied about it. And I remember that night we didn't have sex, and the next morning he's like, that was the first time that we've ever slept in a bed together and not had sex before we went to bed. And I was like, wow, that's crazy that You know, there's people that live together and only have sex like once every 2 weeks. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That would be too long for me. Well, as you get older, too, I can see it goes down, especially if you have kids, you know.
Yeah,
you get weighed down by the
My son
hardships.
told me that there was this kid at his school in the bathroom that was banging and going, "Daddy, daddy, daddy." And I was like, okay, that person, I didn't tell him this. It was like that person obviously probably heard like the mom and the boyfriend going at it. But so that's another thing, too, is trying to be quiet.
Yeah, especially when... So a kid at his school told him he heard his mom getting banged out?
No, he didn't say that he heard his mom getting pounded out, but the kid was in the bathroom humping the wall, yelling "daddy."
Okay.
So like, why else would something be humping the wall saying "daddy"? I mean, think about it.
True. Put 2 and 2 together, Doug. God damn it. Okay, Kayla says, I've been with my girl for almost 13 years, and I can say a big part of what makes it work is communication, understanding, and truth. You have to know what you are going after. Absolutely. And 13 years is a very long time, man.
Damn.
So congratulations for you for making it that long. And I think one thing that makes it tough for, you got some gears turned in my head, to make it that far in a long-term relationship, especially when you're like, when you start dating in your 20s, you're still figuring out who you are, and you're growing so much. That's why not many people, like, your high school flings almost never last, because like people just change and grow so much from 18 to 21, and even from like 21 to 24, and then 24 to 20. Those are all like really big chunks, right? When I think about the person I was and my level of just like maturity from like 21 to 24 are huge. And another big one from 24 to like 27. And when you're trying to be in like a long-term romantic relationship, you may be at the same point in life and want the same things, but in 3-4 years from now, you may grow in opposite directions. And I think that's what makes it really tough to find your soulmate and make it work when you start looking for someone like kind of in your 20s. Not saying that it's impossible, but I'm just saying we live a very fast-paced life nowadays, you know? It's always, we want this, we want that, we got a new job, we got to go to work, now we got to go to school, and it's just chaos.
That's very, very, very challenging, because I'm thinking of the person I was at 18, even the person I was 2, and the person I am now. And then picture you meet someone and they are certain, and then they change. That sucks. Right. That's really, and I think that is a good point, because people can completely, like, I used to smoke a pack of Newports every day.
Yeah.
The thought of a cigarette, like, I want to eat as much as I want to eat a shoe, like, it's disgusting, right? But that's like a tangible example, but like there's so many other things that are so drastically different.
Yep.
And so picture if someone changed that much, that's really challenging. Like, but you committed to them.
It is.
That's really challenging. Maybe people can completely have a metamorphosis for the better or for the worse.
Right. And then you gotta get to a point where you have to ask yourself, or it's like, is this person holding me back from where I want to be career-wise, you know, because you're in this romantic relationship? Sometimes you gotta, like, being at least single, I feel like it helps you grow a lot, because you're able to go out there and you kind of play the field a little bit. I think it's good to play the field, you know?
Well, this is something that's good too. I've had multiple relationships in my life. Now I know what I want very, very clearly and what I don't want very clearly. Mm-hmm. I want someone that fucking dances. Yeah. I want someone that doesn't complain if I smoke a fucking blunt. Yeah. You're smoking weed. I want someone that's chill. Like, certain things I know where if you don't go and date different types of people, you won't have such a clear image in your mind of energies and vibes and what you want.
Absolutely. So, Kanelis, well, this is why communication is so important, because you have to be able to understand the other person and what it is that it is driving them to do the things you like and don't like.
A lot of people are unaware, too, of behavior. Yeah. Like sometimes people do things, or there's things that I've done that have bothered people, and they tell me, I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize I did that. Thank you for telling me. Like, I interrupt people when they talk. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. Or like Pastor Joe says, I'm selfish, and the second we get on the phone, I go, I blah, 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 I this. And he goes, you didn't even ask me how I'm doing. I'm like, wow, I don't realize that I don't do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me.
And maybe that's that's a personal thing. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like certain dudes wouldn't give a shit if you picked up the phone, you just started running your mouth. When the other ones like Pat Strover, he's like, hey, like ask me how my day is first. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ask me how I'm doing, you know, and then you can tell me what's going on in your life and your day. But like, give me a little mental check-in every now and then.
Yeah, a lot of people are not even aware of that. Why do you think is so hard? I think for me, I've been in relationships where I get shamed for my emotions, or like, oh, you're sad, or this or that, and then you can't be open. Let someone talk to you. Oh, this is what I want to say that I thought of earlier. Right. If someone confesses something, always be very careful how you handle it. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't lie to anybody about anything except my mom. Mm-hmm. And I realize I don't care how much money I have. I'll probably always lie to her, because if she finds out you spent $700 on your hair, like if she finds out anything, she screams at me.
Right.
And I'm 32 years old and I'll always lie. Right. If a guy opens up to you and is like, hey, I did this and I'm sorry. Wow. Thank you so much for telling me. Yes. Let's move past this. You did? Are you fucking serious? Like, that doesn't, my son, one thing I love about my son is he doesn't lie to me about anything. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy. But I've taught him that if you are honest with me, you will not be in that much trouble as if I find out that you lie to me. And I think people need to have that in relationships, because that you can really trust them, right? Yeah. Because trust is such a huge thing. But people get mad over the littlest things and start snapping, and then it makes them want to lie. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I said with my mom, it's stupid the shit I lie about. It's my money. I'm 32 years old. I live on my own, but like I have to lie because you scream at me, and it makes me feel like how a guy feels with a woman.
Yes. No, I agree with you 100%. I think I was just lucky when it comes to having good, like, because communication is a two-way street. And every girl, like even starting with my high school fling, we were always like, we would game together and we'd smoke weed and we'd talk about shit. You know what I mean? Every girl that I dated was my best friend at one point also.
That's
too.
So important.
You know what I mean?
You need friendship. You need friendship.
But I feel like I'm in the minority in that. You know, I feel like I've gotten really lucky in that sense with having good communication in relationships, because I know there's a lot of guys that haven't. You know, I think you got to listen to, like, it can be something as simple as just like, if your significant other doesn't like, you know, you putting in the peanut butter, like back in the fridge, she wants you like out in the cabinet, you know what I mean? But like, you're constantly putting the peanut butter back in the fridge. You put it back in the fridge. It's not, and you end up like exploding, and like there ends up becoming this big fight over something really stupid. But when you take a step back, like, it's not about where you're putting the peanut butter. It's you're not listening. You know, I've told you like 1,000 fucking times, like, please don't do this. Like, I like it over here. Like, how small it is. Issue. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a lot deeper than that. It starts with something really like small like that.
A lot of it.
But like, it's like, it boils down to like, I feel like you're not hearing me. You're not listening to me when I ask you to do this. You're not asking me, like, listen to me when I tell you that.
A lot of that boils down to not getting other needs, right? Yeah. Because I've never been like that type of person who get mad about that, but there's times certain things can annoy me. But if I don't feel like I'm getting attention, if I'm not getting my sexual needs met, then things that normally wouldn't bug me start to bug me. Yeah. And I feel like that's the way for both things, where if you're not connecting and if you aren't getting those needs met, other things are going to bother you.
It gets amplified.
It gets amplified. Absolutely. 100%. That's so funny though, that the relationships have like probably ended over things like that.
Yeah, they have. And then, like I said, it builds up over time. Like nobody breaks up over someone putting the peanut butter in the wrong spot, you know? But it's like, if they're not listening to you when you do that, and maybe you ask them to pick something up at the grocery store and they forget, you know what I mean? It's all these little things that get stacked on top of each other that I think end up like really building up to that like exploding point.
Right. And it's not about the thing you didn't grab at the grocery store. It's the principle that
can I rely on you?
Right. It's the principle that I feel like you don't I'm willing to do so much for you, and you don't care when I need something.
What are you sacrificing to? Some people like ask, I'm trying to think of a way to word this so I don't get in trouble. I know. Me and the person I'm seeing now, like, we've had the talk of what she sacrifices for this relationship versus, what I sacrifice. And there's things that I didn't like. So being like working late at night, being on opposite schedules it's really tough with someone. Like, it sucks being with someone who's working a day job, and as soon as they're getting off work, I leave and go to work. So we barely see each other. And on days that I go over there late at night when she has to wake up early, because she wants to spend time with me when we only get, 1 or 2 days out of the week, she's sacrificing sleep and other things for me to have like a good day at work. I'm someone like I need like my sleep, and I have the luxury of sleeping in, So for me, what's something that I learned in this relationship is I didn't see some of the sacrifices that she was making for me so we can like maintain this relationship. I think everyone is making their own sacrifices, and sometimes like your partner doesn't always see the ones that you're making, even if it's something small, like missing out on a little bit of sleep so you can stay up and like hang out and like talk a little bit instead of just like crawling into bed and calling it a day.
That is true. And I think that is a conversation that people need to have if they feel like they're sacrificing and the other person doesn't realize that. I think that is really...
And I didn't realize that, And we communicated about it. We're good now. I have a new perspective on it. I respect her a lot more for it, and I see things now that I didn't before. So it comes down to communication, boys and girls.
It does. Like, is there any other red flags that you want to
I don't
mention?
know. I think that's pretty good. We're almost 2 hours here. It's past 6. It's getting hot. I'm sweating in here at these lights, these headphones.
I had fun chatting with you.
Yeah, no, it flew by quick. Kanelis, thanks for hanging out again, brother.
Hey,
thanks for chiming in, too.
Thank you.
It's always appreciative. We always like answering questions. Feel free to pick out our brain anytime. Gypsy, got anything else to say?
No, I'm digging this conversation because it's true.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's never ending,
It's never ending.
I got to work later tonight, though, so unfortunately, the bartender life, the opposite schedule life.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that next time.
We will.
All right, everyone. Kanelis, again, higher highs. Everyone else who was hanging out, that was watching the whole time. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the support. We appreciate it. I'll be back next Wednesday for the Trap City music stream, and we'll try to sneak in a podcast sometime before then, or maybe I'll just log on and play some games if I got the time.
Let's do it.
All right,
and we made the commitment that we don't know when exactly.
We're gonna try to do. Gypsy's gonna try to come over once a week. That's her and I, and then anything else that I can do, like in between that time and working on that. But yeah, I choose the Doug life. The Doug life chose me. Peace.
Okay. Yeah, right in that last 5 minutes, I started.
I know. No, I was gonna call.